And for the residents of Miami-Dade, getting your COVID-19 vaccination is an important part. Help everyone stay safe as we continue to fight the spread. And we can protect those most vulnerable around us. With easy access to vaccination locations and the growing ability for more people to be protected, it's our best shot to keep moving forward. It's our best shot for a strong, healthy community. For more information, visit miamidade.gov/vaccine.
Good morning. It's Tuesday and it's 11 a.m., which means it's time for the FIU Music Hour on WDNA 88.9 FM, where we present live weekly performances in the WDNA Jazz Gallery and feature students, faculty, and alumni from Florida International University's Herbert and Nicole Wertheim School of Music and Performing Arts. I'm your host and FIU faculty, Dr. Russ Spiegel, and along with our executive producer, Dr. Karen Velas, we'd like to welcome you to our show. Whether you're listening to us at home, in your car, or live on WDNA.org/FIU, we are delighted to have you with us. Today, we are pleased to feature members of the FIU Wertheim School of Music faculty, including Dr. Javier Mendoza, director of the FIU Symphony Orchestra, Dr. Aaron Millard, director of choral activities, Juvenal Correa Salas, instructor for Collegium Musicum and musical director of the FIU Opera Theater, who will be performing on harpsichord, and Eleanor Mendoza, adjunct professor of voice. We also have Libia Montano, soprano, and not only that, we also have members of the FIU Wertheim School of Music Symphony Orchestra and choir. Good morning, Dr. Mendoza. How are you today?
Good morning, Dr. Spiegel. I'm very well. Thank you for having us this morning. We're really excited to share some nice music with you today.
Excellent. And the first piece we are going to hear?
We're going to hear a piece called Hanak Pachap, which is actually one of the earliest pieces is the earliest piece of Western polyphony to be printed in the New World. It is an example of a religious work dedicated to the Virgin Mary in Quechua. So Western music with native indigenous language. It was attributed to Juan Bocanegra. However, it's likely that one of his students or somebody else wrote it.
Fantastic. Dr. Millard.
Good morning, Dr. Spiegel. How are you?
Very good. Thank you. That was a wonderful performance. And you are now in your second year as choir director, director of choirs. I want to make sure I say that correctly.
Perfect.
At FIU. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the program?
Sure. As director of choral activities, I have a few responsibilities at FIU. I work with our concert choir, which is our top auditioned choir. The students that you heard singing today are members of that ensemble. I also have the honor of working with all of our graduate level choral conductors, and I get to teach choral conducting to our undergraduate students who are usually in the music ed track, but sometimes come from other degree programs. And I also get to teach choral literature. For our Master of Music students, I provide them with private conducting lessons, a choral literature class, and I also shepherd them through their recital process as they perform a recital as a capstone for their Master of Music in Conducting degree. And for our undergraduates, we work together in a group setting for their choral class, and they also get to work with me in ensembles.
Fantastic. Well, they sound great, and we're going to be hearing more of them in a little bit.
Absolutely.
And now, Dr. Mendoza. We are going to be hearing a new piece here, and hopefully the other musicians will be coming on stage. While we do that, tell us about the next piece we're going to be hearing.
Well, all of today's program are examples of music from colonial Latin America. So the first set of pieces that we have, the first three pieces we have are from Peru. Where we're going next is A del Gozo by José de Orejón y Aparicio. José de Orejón y Aparicio. I always struggle with the second last name. So, but this will be conducted by our new graduate student in choral conducting, Marcelo Santa Cruz, who comes to us from Santa Cruz, Bolivia. And this is a duet. It's actually a set of 7 sections. We start with duo, and it alternates between recitative, duo, and aria, and it tells a story. This piece is also dedicated to the Virgin Mary.
Thank you very much. You're listening to a live performance in the WDNA Jazz Gallery of the members of the FIU Wertheim School of Music faculty and students here on the FIU Music Hour on WDNA 88.9 FM. Please stick around. We'll be right back after these messages. And we're back on the FIU Music Hour, and we have the FIU Choir with us, with Director Erin Millard. And who are we listening to today?
Today we have members from our concert choir, which is our most advanced choir at FIU. They're all placed in this choir by audition. On soprano today we have Natalie Gomez, Savannah Gonzalez, and Rebecca Jauregui. On alto today we have Noelia Lee Luna, Emily Moser, Maya DeSantis, and Callie Fong. On tenor, we have Theron Hagerty and Shane Sachia. And on bass, we have Elisha Martin and Marcelo Santa Cruz.
Fantastic. And Dr. Mendoza, the next piece we're going to hear.
Okay, so this is actually connected to the last piece. The last piece was written by José de Orejon y Aparicio, and he was a boy soprano in the cathedral choir at Lima Cathedral. And the director of that choir at the time was Tomás de Torrejón y Velasco. So Tomás de Torrejón y Velasco wrote this piece called A este sol peregrino. So to this sun, Pilgrim is the name of the piece, and it's dedicated to St. Peter.
Yes,
thank you to the FIU choir under the direction of Dr. Aaron Millard. Dr. Mendoza, I was wondering if I could speak with you for a moment. Why don't you tell us a little bit briefly about your background, how you fell into music, and especially this kind of music here?
Well, I'm an orchestra director. I'm the director of orchestral studies at FIU. I'm also the artistic director of the Chicago Arts Orchestra, which is a professional chamber orchestra in Chicago. Before my time at FIU, I also taught at the University of Illinois at Chicago. And for a long time, an interest of mine, a research interest of mine, has been viceregal music from Latin America or colonial music from Latin America, and mostly from the 18th century. So we're hearing a bit of that today. Most of the music we've heard today, although what we just heard is a little bit older, from the 17th century or early 18th century, but most everything else we're hearing today is from the 18th century.
And it's very interesting because this is music from Latin America, but it sounds very Latinate, if I can say that.
Or even Italianate. Most of this music has heavy influence from Italian composers. In fact, the second half of what we're about to hear, the last three, the next two especially, are Italianate, and the next piece we're going to hear is actually by an Italian composer who lived in Mexico City.
Very interesting. And about your musical research and also the performances that you're doing around the world, why don't you tell us about that? I know you were recently in Bolivia. I think you're going to Croatia.
Well, I'm going to Croatia later this week for a recording of contemporary music, actually. But earlier this summer, in May, I gave a performance in Madrid at the Teatro Alcázar in Madrid, in downtown Madrid, of music, arias and other music from New Spanish cathedrals. So my primary focus is on the repertoire of New Spain, which is today, present day, Mexico, Guatemala, the southwestern United States, even Florida, where we are today, was part of New Spain during that time. So I presented a concert of a sampling of those pieces, which also included the composer some of your listeners may know, Esteban Salas, who was the chapel master of Santiago Cathedral in Cuba.
Fantastic. Now, when you are working with your students, and especially your conducting students, what are you looking for?
So, this is we're switching gears here. This repertoire that we're performing today is highly specialized and something that carries over somewhat into my teaching of conducting and the other work I do at the university, but not so much, actually. I have an obligation to core repertoire while widening their understanding of other repertoire. So in terms of what we're looking for is, we're looking for students who have an interest and a passion in conducting, in music in general, in orchestral music in general, and we're looking for students who know why they want to be conductors and why they've chosen music as a career. And we're also looking for students who understand the challenges that one will be faced with. It's not an easy profession. More than half of us with doctorates in orchestral conducting don't have jobs, so it's a minority of us that actually get jobs after graduate school. So an awareness of that and an idea of where they want to be after their degree. So, but most important, and my students will attest to this, is that they understand why they're embarking on this journey.
That's a pretty important thing to know when you're doing something this important and this of artistic value. And tell us also about the upcoming performances at FIU.
Yes, so I'm very excited. The entire program that we're performing today here live on WDNA Radio is going to be repeated tomorrow at the Patricia and Philip Frost Art Museum on the campus of FIU. Presently, the Frost Museum is exhibiting the Toma collection, which is a collection of colonial art from Peru. Many of the, well, not just Peru, there's some Bolivian pieces, there's a piece from Venezuela, and I believe there might also be a piece from Cuba. But the collection is heavily focused on art of the Cusco School of Peru. Those listeners might know of this type of visual art from the colonial era. But beautiful work. So what we're doing is we're creating an accompaniment, an appropriate accompaniment to those works of art. So all of this music is from similar time period of the visual art. So we'll be presenting this tomorrow with the exhibit, which is called From the Andes to the Caribbean, and it starts at 6:30. It's a free event. Again, it's at the Frost Art Museum on the campus of FIU, 6:30 to 8 p.m., and a reception will follow. So I encourage all of the listeners out there who might be interested in this visual art and the soundtrack that goes with it to please join us tomorrow evening.
Fantastic. And what piece are we going to be listening to now?
So next we're moving to New Spain. Again, actually we're not. We're moving to Bolivia. And I should mention Marcelo Santa Cruz, who conducted the second piece on our program today, is only in his second week here at FIU, and he came to us from Bolivia. And very talented student. We're excited he's with us. So the next piece is also from Bolivia, and this is a piece that is known as Para la Cruz. It's a traditional melody from Bolivia. It was passed down orally. And was just recently, in the last 30 years or so, written down. But what's interesting about this piece is Franciscan missions in one region of Bolivia, people at those missions were performing this piece, but also people on the other side of the country in Jesuit missions were also performing this piece. And again, it hadn't been written down. So the Franciscans and the Jesuits transmitted this piece of music to people. I don't know, I couldn't say how long ago, but they transmitted it, and it stayed active in those communities independent of each other. So it's quite fascinating that that tradition kept going. So we have with us this morning Ruben Sabando from the FIU Symphony Orchestra and Gianluca Nagaro, both playing violin, and they will play a little bit of this Para la Cruz, traditional Bolivian melody.
Thank you. Please tell us about the next piece.
So now we're going to move to New Spain, a piece by Ignacio Jerusalem, who was chapel master of the Mexico City Cathedral until his death in 1769. He came to Mexico City he was working in Spain, but originally from Italy, born in Naples, trained in Naples. Very, very good composer, and this is actually a premiere. Nobody's heard this piece in 200 years, perhaps.
Wow.
This is an edition prepared by musicologist Drew Edward Davies from Northwestern University, and I hope you enjoy it. The piece is called Luna Candidissima, another work dedicated to the Virgin Mary.
You've been listening to members of the FIU Wertheim School of Music faculty with Dr. Javier Mendoza, Director of the FIU Symphony Orchestra, Dr. Aaron Millard, Director of Choral Activities, Juvenal Correa Salas, Instructor for Collegium Musicum and Musical Director of the FIU Opera Theater. On harpsichord, Eleanor Mendoza and Libia Montaño. On soprano, and members of the FIU Wertheim School of Music, Symphony Orchestra, and Choir on the FIU Music Hour on WDNA 88.9 FM. I've been your faculty host, Dr. Russ Spiegel, and along with our executive producer, Dr. Karen Velos, I'd like to thank our FIU grad students, WDNA's sound and tech wizard, Alex Aldrich, and the staff of WDNA 88.9 FM for today's broadcast. If you would like more information on all our programs, make sure to call 305-348-2896 or simply like our Facebook and or Instagram page to stay up to date with all our upcoming performances. Thank you so much for joining us, and make sure to join the FIU Music Hour for more great music every Tuesday, 11 a.m. to noon. Thanks again to our guests. I'm also going to ask that one of my grad students move the music stand off the stage. And what are we going to hear as our last piece of music?
Well, we are going to hear a piece by Anonymous. So this work is not attributed to anybody in particular. It's called Cachua La Serranita.
And features?
Libia Alejandra Montaño singing soprano.